We got tiny flowers coming out here in London on this pear tree. Was it 21st of March today? And look. Morning everyone. So I've got a load of seeds to sow. I've got the greenhouse to do it and to start them off in. Got the allotment sorted, but I need a potting bench and I'm not going to buy one, I'm going to make one. It's going to be using my favourite materials. That's reclaimed wood that I found outside a lady's house in London and my favourite Coppice poles for the structure. It's going to be quick and nasty, but these materials, I just love them. The reclaimed wood and the poles and very simple little joining techniques and not too many screws. Very simple, very quick. Very nice, very functional, and hopefully very pretty. Let's see. Right, so I've got a lot of my wood cut. These are going to be my legs. These lovely poles. And you see my dodgy drawing. I'm just trying to work out now what to do that lower part out of. I've got these planks cut. I've got the uprights all cut. I'm just trying to work out what this, and I've got these lower ones cut. I'm just trying to work out what this one should be. I was going to do it out of sweet chestnut, which is this coppice wood, his stuff. But if you can imagine, if you like that, and you put these planks across it as the lower shelf, then they might be where that's, and you can see that's not perfectly straight. Then it might be in for a bit of a higgledy-piggledy shelf. So the plan is, I've got this off-cut floorboard. The plan is to dowel the end of this like that, cut it say along there like that, dowel the other end, can join it into those bits of wood then with a simple dowel joint, and lay the planks nice and flat. Let's see if that works. So I got these bits of wood. Basically, I was driving past this old, nice-looking house that was having some work done, and this wood was amongst a load of other stuff, looking very neglected. And I knocked on the door, asked the lady if I could have it. She was very obliging, was happy for me to take it away. They take a while to get out every bit of metal that's embedded in them from the years of use they've had. But free wood, free world. That's the tabletop done. This is a simple build really. Once I had my top screwed together, all I had to do was cut the poles to length and dowel the end, which is where you make it into a nice cylinder which matches the holes in the worktop. Then I had to drill the holes in the right places, in the different poles and the top, and assemble them. Right, so I've got my table flipped upside down, got all 4 legs in, they're not fixed in, but I've got to work out now where I'm going to put a piece here, piece here, piece here, and these 2 there for the bottom shelf. So this bit of wood is going to be across there to stabilise it. So where this and this isn't exactly straight and it bends and moves, I've got to hold this up, and the same with this. I've got to hold it up where I want it, and then mark it on, drill the hole where that is, stick it in, and hope that everything stays where I want it to go. Obviously, whereas you can't work out an angle on paper or that sort of thing for this, where you would in normal woodwork, you've got to do it by eye, which is forgiving because it means if it's not 100% in line, then you can get away with it. But it means if you haven't got the eye to look where it lines up, or you miss that the angle, or mess up the angle a little bit, you're into problems. So should it go on like this to match the other side, or like this to be odd? What do you reckon? Even, odd. Odd. It's got to be odd, isn't it? So now you can see up here where it wants to go. So I can mark the angle in which it comes in just by eye, and then how deep I want it. Now that will look rough, but because it's all a little bit of flex, a little bit of movement, that will be pretty bang on, I reckon. Moment of truth. Fantastic. So now I've got to do exactly the same for the one that goes along the back, like this. Same idea, hold it up, mark it, drill it, bash it in, pray it's all roughly square, and then move on. We've got a couple more of these and then nearly done. Oh, basically I wanted to add in a shelf about here. This is actually upside down. So I've got my bits of wood that are going to stack along here. And I've got my little support beams, which I'm going to now do exactly the same thing, but this is going to be level to the top of the table. I'll measure off this as high as it will be, and it'll be the same for all of them. And then I've got a nice straight line to mean that that shelf will sit nice and level, same as the table, and then that's it. Final glue, a little bit of screwing in these. So let's get these in. How high do we want it off the ground? Drill this side, drill this side. I wasn't sure what design considerations to go with a potting bench. Definitely a compost bay. I've seen sort of sunken ones, old sinks and etc., which I think is definitely a good idea to have a compost bay. I wanted one way I could take it away so I could use that worktop space when I wasn't using it. But other than that, a lower shelf I went for. What else did you get in there? Seed rack? But it gets a little bit busy then, doesn't it, on the worktop then, if you've got the compost bay and the seed rack. Aside from the compost bay bit, I think essentially a potting bench, best functionality is basically being a little workbench, which is disappointing. You always want to make something new and different. I was designing it, I was trying to come up with all different ideas. What could I add, what could I not? But I was struggling to design anything that basically wasn't just a little workbench with the materials I got. So basically that's what I ended up making, a good old simple little workbench. And I'm not disappointed either. Sometimes simple is best, although perhaps a little underwhelming in the big world we live in. Thanks for watching, everybody!